Oh, you're in for a real treat.
If we can dream it, then we can do it. Yes, we can, yes, we can.
Hang on to them hats and glasses, 'cause this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Mickey pretzel, Mickey ice cream bar, or an ice cream sandwich.
Oh, this is so easy. This is so easy. Mickey ice cream bar. We're gonna love them. We're gonna like the Mickey pretzel, and we're gonna leave the ice cream sandwich. I can't even understand the ice cream sandwich.
Gets his stuff and gets ready to leave, and I was like, "You leaving?" And he said that's when he was like, "Okay."
Yeah. So.
What? So why'd you pull over then?
I was probably more scared than anything. Pull over. I don't know if this guy's crazy.
With Holly, Grand Floridian, and Contemporary.
I would buy a Wookiee cookie before I would buy an ice cream sandwich in Disney. I'm just saying.
Chose the music they chose, and that's why that they laid this life out, you know, from birth to death in the show. It's actually much more to it than I think a lot of people realize until we really start to see it more.
I'm going to skip out because I do have to do my football show where I will be picking the Patriots to lose this week. By the way, go Raven, out!
I'll talk to him later. Pete is great. Love Pete.
11 children in the house. Sometimes we would have 30.
You had the house to hang out at.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zach Stevens.
What's up, guys?
Well,
let's go live on YouTube. People might like to see that. And believe it or not, that first night we got 1,000 people watching. I don't.
Year after year.
You are now listening to a member of the Disney Podcast family. Head over to Disney Podcast Family on Instagram to see all the latest posts for this show and links to other great Disney podcasts.
Hello and welcome, everyone, to another edition of the DIZPod. I'm looking at my park bros across the way from me, and we are live. We do this live because we do it for all of you. Hello, everyone in chat. You are watching the live recording of the podcast that hits iHeartRadio, Amazon, Spotify, and Apple. And so we may not interact with you as much as we do in the parks. We take great pride in that. Just know that we are watching all of those comments in the chat. Keep them rolling. Make sure you comment when this is over. It really, really helps. YouTube is really stressing those comments at the end of a broadcast or during a rewatch and all that. And when I say that, I wonder, Lawrence, if people realize, when we say comment, it's not in the chat. We want that helps, but we also want a separate comment to the video. And that has to happen. Well, you can do it while it's happening, I think. I didn't think you could, but if I look at the chat right now, if I click off of that, I can make a comment. No, I guess I can't. That's weird. We just did a premiere and I was able to do it. But when the video ends, when the live ends, make a comment, everybody. It's just a free and easy way to help us. So we are here. It is thundering and storming outside all of a sudden. So if anyone hears any of that, that's going on. So that's a little bit different over the last few days. It's been feels like 112 in Central Florida, and it feels every bit of that, and it has, and you can tell by everyone's lawn. It's so funny here in Florida, and I don't know if it happens where you are in the Carolinas, but we drove down the street the other day, Tammy and I were like, oh yeah, well, everyone's grass is brown, but 3 days ago it was as green as could be and beautiful. And all it takes is one rainstorm, and then boom, it'll all be back again. It's nuts.
Doesn't happen as much like that here, but we do get that a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm off this week, and I told you earlier, I just thought I'd be so super productive today. I thought I'd do a ton of channel work today. I feel like that's what you ever feel like you're focused on something, but then when you look at the end of the day, you're like, okay, I didn't put as much work in as I thought I was going to, but I feel like this is all I did today. I thought I have a lot of footage and I have a lot of vlogs to get to. And
that
I thought
happened
I
today.
would be.
I had a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff planned and 3 or 4 phone calls in to people in the network, and my day was was gone. So
Yeah, you and I talked for a while. I'm glad I did. But I think a lot of my setbacks was just trouble trying to figure out. I think I got it licked now. I was having issues with uploading and then not enough memory and all that stuff. So the last one I edited quick this afternoon and uploaded it. So it's sitting there for tomorrow night's video. If you haven't watched our premiere video of our pin series, our 4-night pin series, has dropped starting today, and it just did an hour ago. So if you haven't watched it yet, go back and watch it at your convenience as soon as you can. It helps. And see if we can get this really off the ground, because I want this series to do well. I want it to justify me being able to go out there and do more pin content for all of you. So it'd be fun. So that's where we are. And some news dropped today about one of my favorite things in Disney, which is snacks. And that's the Halloween party with the Halloween party snacks.
Yeah.
So I know that's happening as well.
We'll talk a little bit about that today, but we're going to do a whole episode on that. But today happens. I never wear my shirt open, so it really feels weird, right, to have the shirt open. But there's no way.
You're following my trend.
I am following your trend. So,
by the way, go ahead. Finish. Yeah.
No,
what
go
does it
ahead.
say? No, I hate that I interrupted you. This is a Disney Tokyo shirt.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All the Mickeys on there. You see that?
Yeah, I do like that one.
There you go.
With the hat that's making a return.
The hat that's making the return. Yes.
So, things I do in my spare time, that's my shirt. Right. I've actually worn this shirt before on the show. I don't remember what it says.
Okay. Things I do in my spare time. Look at that. Oh, watch others ride roller coasters. Roller coasters.
Think about roller coasters. Research roller coasters. Dream about roller coasters. And talk about roller coasters. So I thought this shirt was appropriate for our guest today, Thad from Theme Park Giant, who is all about roller coasters, shall we say? You know, he streams Disney, but I think he dreams roller coasters. So we're going to find out all about what he does in the parks and how he came to love roller coasters like he does. And we're going to put him on the spot and have him talk about his top roller coasters. So I'm going to bring him in now. Welcome, Thad, to the show.
How you doing, Thad? Welcome.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on.
I'm going to make
Thanks
you
for being here. We appreciate that.
a little bit larger because for some reason it's picking up my screen behind me. So thank you for coming on. You know, I've been on his stream. I basically took over his stream because he likes to be involved with the chat, talk to his chat, and I was there that Friday with him. I don't know that he got 5 words into the chat.
It was a rough day.
But you know, he only lost 40 subscribers that day, so I think it was a positive.
Right. Could have been way worse.
Could have been worse. So thank you for coming on. I am honored to call Thad a friend. And in fact, so that stream that I just talked about, we ended at 4 and we talked until 7, just on a bench underneath Spaceship Earth for 3 hours. Just 2 old men talking on a bench. You know, but it was
hot. It was hot that day too.
It was hot. Not as hot as it's been this week, but it was hot that day. But it was, you know, we got to know each other a little bit more, and then I left and I texted him. I was like, "Hey, they're doing the parade," and he basically said, "Good for you. I'll see you later," because he had a long day.
Yeah. Literally got to my driveway, pull in, and he texts me. It's 8:00, and he's like, "Hey, they're doing the parade tonight." And I was like, "Yep, have fun." I'm done.
So, Tell us a little bit about your channel and how you got started streaming Disney.
Yeah, so it's kind of a long story, like most things. I'm a talker, so I know Corey is too. So we're gonna have like the longest podcast ever here, guys. So just buckle in. But yeah, so I mean, I've always been into roller coasters. Been coming to Disney World my entire life. I grew up in Iowa, lived in Iowa for first 44 years of my life. Moved down here a couple Mays ago in 2023. But yeah, we used to come to Disney World every year. We were a blue collar family. My dad worked in the assembly line at John Deere, so we would drive down and back from Iowa, like 1,400 miles. We'd stay at the Travel Lodge on 192. We did it as cheap as you could because we wanted to go every year. So that's how my family did it. So that got the bug in me early. And then like with roller coasters and stuff, that was kind of as I got older. But the content creation piece, so as I started to travel around the world more, I used to be in a coaster club called Theme Park Review, did a lot of tours with them all over Europe, went to Japan with them, been all over the US with them. And if you're not familiar with Theme Park Review, they're a very big channel on YouTube. I consider him like the godfather of roller coaster content creation. He was one of the first. I mean, I think he has 3 million subscribers right now. So he's been around it. And so just being around him for a few years, and like I'd be in some videos. I've been in some viral videos with them, like some with like 15 million views on them, I think. So that kind of got the itch for me. And then one day I was sitting there and I woke up the one morning and I was getting ready for work and I'm looking at Facebook, and in the messenger, those message requests you'll get sometimes, and they're usually spam. Well, I'd never seen that folder. And I look in there one day and I have a message she was the executive producer of the shows for Travel Channel that did like roller coaster shows. And they saw one of the videos I was in and they reached out and they're like, "Hey, we'd like to build a show around you." Now, I saw this message 5 years after she sent it. It was just buried in my spam folder. So like by the time I messaged her back, she'd already left the company. But so that got it in my head of like, oh, maybe I've got something here, if they were reaching out to me. So I started to do some content just on the side, did a few travel vlogs of like some coaster trips I did, and just kind of would do them every few weeks because I'd go all over during the summer. So that was just kind of a hobby of mine. And then during the pandemic, I found vloggers on YouTube for Disney, and I'd never really watched much Disney only content on YouTube. I was a coaster guy, and I got my Disney news from like podcasts and things like that. And just during the pandemic, nothing to do, couldn't do anything. Once they opened the parks up down here, I started watching all these vloggers, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. Skip ahead a couple years, and I was just so burnt out. I was a software developer for 25 plus years, worked in corporate America the entire time, many Fortune 500 companies, worked on big projects, and I was just done. I couldn't do it anymore. Felt like I was slowly dying going into the office every day. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to sell my house. I used to have a huge Air Jordan collection, about 100 of them. I sold about 75 of those. And just took all that money and said, I'm quitting my career. I'm moving down to Orlando and I'm going to try and make this work. So for the last couple of years, I was doing vlogs, heavy coaster stuff, also sprinkling in Disney World because I do love Disney the most. And was growing, but not at the rate I needed to be for what I was trying to do. And I've always liked the idea of streaming, but I'd never really watched Disney streamers. It just wasn't a thing on YouTube I got into. And then I met Pete McDevitt randomly in the park last December. I had a Viking shirt on, and he's a big sports guy. And I'm walking off Guardians, wasn't even doing content that day, just had some friends in town, walking off Guardians, and I hear a guy just go, "Oh, the Vikings, what do you think about their season?" And I'll look over and there's Pete sitting there, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, well, I'll talk about the Vikings. Like,
Uh-huh.
so we hit it off. You know, we talked for probably 10 minutes. My friends are like, what are you doing just talking to this guy about football? Like, I'm like, I don't know. We hit it off. And then he goes, hey, I got a YouTube channel. You know, we've all seen Pete do his thing when he's, you know, whips out the QR code. Like, so I pull it up and I said, and he's like, so what do you do? And I'm like, well, actually, I do YouTube. You know, I'm a content creator. And he's like, no kidding. And so I said, for Disney. And then we really hit it off. So later that day, I went home. He was streaming in the parks. So we'd each subscribe to each other. So I started watching him, just got in the chat. And his chat was super nice, welcoming. So I started watching more of Pete's stuff, you know, and I just liked Pete. So, but then watching his show every week, he brings on streamers, right? So, and this is a whole new world to me. Like, I literally, like, people talk about Resort TV 1. I didn't even know really who Resort, like, I don't know even the big boys. So, like, I'm very naive when it comes to this still. But so just watching him, you know, I became part of his community because I'd watch his sports streams. I'd watch his, you know, Disney streams. I've been on several of his shows now. Like, I've become part of that community. And so about 3 or 4 months ago, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to start looking into streaming. And I have an idea what I wanted my stream to look like because I'm a big graphics guy. Like, if you watch my stream, obviously I do a lot of technical stuff. I always probably overdo things, but I'm very big on graphics and things because I used to watch video game streamers. And when they're in their home studio, their graphics and things are much more elaborate than what I'm used to seeing in a park. And that makes sense because IRL streamers, it's very difficult to do that.
Yeah.
So I started going down the road. Plus, I'm a tech nerd, so I wanted to figure it out. When I kind of hit a roadblock and put it on the back burner, and then John from Fun to Be Free was on Pete's show one night. And I was just like, oh, this guy's really interesting. You know, he was talking about tech. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then we just connected on the 80s. He's a big 80s Epcot guy. So I started watching his stream once in a while. And then we started chatting. And then I realized, like, he's using the same setup I want to. And so he's like, hey, if you have any tech questions, let me know. So I'd ask in the chat, and I was getting close. And then one day I just went and found him in Epcot. And we walked around, and he's like, ask me any questions you want. Well, I was live on stream. We walked around for probably a good hour, 90 minutes. He answered most of my questions. He ended his stream. We went and sat down in the land in his office, and his office, as he calls it. And he went through everything for me. And it was that one missing piece, Fellow Box Cloud, which I know you're well aware of now, Lawrence. But he gave me the missing piece. And from there, it was like, all right, did some test streams for a couple months. I moved in May. I went back to Iowa for a while. So, like, I wasn't doing much that month. But in early June, I was like, all right, I'm going full into streaming. So I went 5 days a week just to start. And I'm not doing vlogs anymore because I think it's hard to juggle that as one person. And I'd rather focus on the vlog or the streaming. And so that's what I've done. And now I stream Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. I'm in the parks, and I do all the parks. So, you know, I go over to Universal, I go to SeaWorld. I'm going to go to Busch Gardens eventually because my setup actually allows me to ride the roller coasters and stream them there because I can take my Action 4 with me, and it works with my stream setup. Yeah, Corey. I was at SeaWorld a few weeks ago riding Mako. I was on Penguin Trek. Yeah, it works.
Okay.
And it's pretty
How
cool.
was your signal?
Really good.
I mean, were you live doing it?
Yeah, I was live. And I do the connection
good.
bonding too. So I had the issue at SeaWorld is when you go into the aquariums and stuff underground, goodbye signal. I mean, those are nuclear bunkers, but the coasters, no issues at all. So that's kind of my thing right now. I'm like, no one else is really doing that. It's tough to stream a roller coaster, a big roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, Disney, well, you don't see people doing Tron, you know, because even doing the chess harness, it's a tough thing to do. And like, I can do that setup. I'm just scared because Tron has really bad reception in the station. So I'm always a little leery. I need to test that sometime before I actually go do it. But yeah, so that's where I can bring in like the streaming and the coasters all together. So I'm hoping to do more of that.
Yeah, I would bet the signal's not as bad as you think.
Okay.
Because I want to say not that, you know, anybody does it often, but I think, you know, Corey's done it a couple times, and from what I remember, I think we were pretty good the whole way
I think
through.
we're good. I think from what I remember now, I think we're fine in the queue. I think we're fine
Okay.
all the way through.
Yeah,
All right.
I think so. Yeah, I would.
I'll
I
give
would
it a
try
shot
it.
then.
Nothing serious.
Okay.
Yeah. So, how do you how does a guy from Iowa become, involved in coasters like you do and get to travel I want to travel the world to ride all these coasters?
Yeah. So, growing up in the 80s, it wasn't easy to find coaster information. Like, you'd go to the school library and just look at like Popular Mechanics magazines or whatever, because occasionally they'd have like, hey, here's a new coaster coming out. Like, or I remember Boys Life, that magazine, if you knew what that was, they'd always talk about coasters in there. So I'd always be looking at Boys Life. Like, so it was tough. But I remember like the one big one was in 1989 when Magnum XL200 opened at Cedar Point, and that was the first 200-foot roller coaster, 72 miles an hour, first to break 70, and Popular Mechanics had a picture of it on the cover, and it was like basically the future of roller coasters.
Yeah.
And I was just so enamored, by it. And I just remember we would go to Six Flags in Chicago every summer, at least one day, because I grew up about 3 hours from there, and that was a really good park too. Now the irony is, I loved roller coasters to look at. I was terrified of them up until I was about 15, where I started to actually ride like bigger rides. But I would make my family go to these places so I could see these rides. So yeah, that's how like I originally got into it. And I used to want to design them, and then I took a physics class in high school, and even though I'm a math guy, I was like, well, this isn't what I thought it would be. This isn't really as cool as I thought it would be. So that pipe dream ended there. And then the internet came along, and I'm going to talk about things that some of your viewers have probably never heard of, but the internet before the World Wide Web. This is where I used to live in high school. Like FTP sites. I had like a phone book of like colleges and what would have it in there, and they'd have roller coaster pictures and things like that. So I'd go find these roller coaster pictures and learn about different rides from all over the world just because I'd find these pictures. And then news groups came out. So I used to read Rec.Rollercoaster. This was an online forum that was only text-based. That's what these news groups were. Before like message boards, before Reddit. So this is what I used to read in like 1992, 1993. And I'd talk to people from all over the world. So I'm learning about like Alton Towers in the UK. I would talk to this guy in Australia, and we sent brochures of different parks back and forth to each other. We would actually mail them. And like, so yeah, the internet was a huge thing. Just going into like AOL chat rooms about roller coasters, you'd find them sometimes. So that was the big thing for me. And that's when it really exploded. Kind of the pre-internet, and then kind of pre-web internet. So yeah, that's how old I am. But
I knew somewhere in there we would get to AOL chat rooms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what, outside of your small area, what was the first park that you went to for one of these roller coasters?
So if we're not going to count like Great America in Chicago, Cedar Point was the big one. In 1994, I talked my family into going to this park they'd never heard of. And for those that aren't aware, Cedar Point is like the mecca of roller coasters, and has been since 1989 when Magnum XL200 went in, and they just exploded from there. They have 18 coasters now. But when we went in 1994, Raptor was the brand new ride. And Raptor is, if you've ever been to Six Flags, like Batman. So it's called an inverted coaster where you hang below the track. And the first Batman ever was actually at Six Flags Great America, but your feet dangle. Oh yeah. Done it. Nice. I've done many times, Batman. Yeah. Oh yeah. They're great rides. So this was what Cedar Point does, is usually a new ride type will come out. They'll let other parks kind of work through the kinks for a couple years, and then Cedar Point will come in and go, here's the biggest, tallest, fastest version of this. And that's what Raptor was. And it's still a big one. Now, so we go there. I'm still scared of the bigger rides. And like, I'm skipping out on some of the bigger rides. And like, there was a huge wooden coaster called Mean Streak. And I'm sitting there and my mom's sitting with me because the rest of the family went to ride it. And she looked at me and she goes, if you don't ride Raptor before the end of this weekend, because we were there for like a 3-day weekend, she says, I'm never taking you to another park. Because she was sick of us going on these trips and me
Just to
not
look at
riding
them.
anything because they're doing it for me. So I had to agree. The last thing we did, we waited 2.5 hours the last night we were there, and it was hot, I remember, and we rode Raptor, and I got off of it, and it was like, oh, I'm really in love now. And that's when it really took off. So from there, like, my sister and I used to go to Cedar Point every year, like a couple years in high school, even through college, we'd always go because she was a big coaster person too. Not like me, but she loved them. She can't sit and talk about them like I can, but she loves a good roller coaster. And so, yeah, Cedar Point was really the big like stepping stone to, okay, I'm an official coaster nerd now.
Wow. So, how many roller coasters have you been on?
I have been on 558 different roller coasters in 17 different countries.
Oh, so at this point, it tells me that there's nothing you can look at for the first time where you go, oh, no, I'm not doing that.
No, yeah, there's no, like last year I went to Cedar Point. So they've always had, for the last 20 something years, they had Top Thrill Dragster, which is like 400 something feet tall, 120 miles an hour. And it just launches, you go up this top hat, go over, come down, it's over. Well, the couple of times I'd been there, the ride was closed. So I never got to do the original. But I was always a little worried about that one because it's only a lap bar, where King Ka is a similar ride and doesn't exist anymore, but it's Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey. That one has over the shoulder restraints, and I'd been on that a few times. And so it was just a little uneasy. So they redid it last year and made it Top Thrill Dragster 2, and it included a backwards launch up a 400-foot spike before you go up and over the new thing. And that was the first time in a while where I was like a little nervous before I got on a ride because it's just so massive and like the different restraint. I was like, that's going to be a little looser. So, because you actually do like barrel rolls as you go down the top hat as well. So, but it's over so fast that like, yeah, ironically, the only ride I won't do anymore. So, you know, those like swing rides that the swings on the chains, but they go up like 400 feet now. So like there's one on iDrive.
Yeah.
I won't go near them. I've been on a few. I am terrified of heights, the irony, but I do not like sustained heights. We're on a roller coaster. I know I'm going up, we're going over. Now, if we got stuck at the top and had to walk down, you'll see me freak out. That'll be freak out time, but that's never happened. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. But yeah, so those swing rides are the only things I won't do. The last one I did the one in Dallas. At the time, it was the tallest in the world at 400 feet. I'm good.
Nah, you will not see me on one of those. Yeah.
No. Well, and I used to be a lot bigger. Like I used to weigh. I've lost well over 170 pounds the last few years. But like, even I wasn't that big when I was like riding it, but 80, 90 pounds bigger. And you're looking at those chains and you're like, that's going to hold 360 pounds up 400 feet in the air. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I used to get a little anxiety about that.
You definitely would start to question some things. Yes. So this group that you're in, now what was your number? 558, did you say?
Yeah. Yep.
Unbelievable. I mean, I think maybe I could say I've done 40. I don't know. I think that's probably stretching it.
And that's pretty good for most normal human beings. You know?
Yeah.
40 is a lot. It really is.
I don't really like loops. And really the only one that I think I'm comfortable with doing that has loops is Rock and Roller Coaster.
Okay.
And maybe it's because it's indoors. I don't know.
Maybe.
But I definitely don't like
loops have
the
never
outdoor.
bothered me.
Yeah, I figured. I figured if you've been on that many, there's not that many that don't have loops. So yeah.
Right. Yep.
So
one coaster that I did in Six Flags when I lived up north was Superman, and actually I think I did it more than once. But since then, that's something I never have interest on going on again, because there's that that inversion. You call it an inversion, right? Is it no? Is inversion the loop, or what's it called?
Inversion's a loop, or like any time
that?
you go upside down is called an inversion. So a barrel roll, a corkscrew.
What do they call it when you come down a hill and you are like negative degrees? Like I felt like I was coming out of my seat on that drop, and then it looks like you're going to smack your head on the tunnel.
Oh,
no more.
So this is Six Flags New England.
Yes.
I'm assuming. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So that, of all the parks I've ever been to, I've never had a worse day in my life than I did at Six Flags New England in 2013. They have height maxes that no other park has. They follow their own guidelines. I couldn't ride Superman. I couldn't ride Goliath, which was the like inverted boomerang thing with like that. It's gone now. There's the Vekoma SLC I got booted off of, and then there was one more. But in the first 2 hours I was there, I got booted off 4 rides for being too tall. And I was like, well, I'm never coming back here. And it's the worst because Superman or Bizarro, whatever it's called on any given year, is pretty highly regarded, like a top 5 coaster by a lot of people. So that one is
wow. Yeah. And you may have smacked your head because I felt like I was going to.
Yeah.
I could see the height requirement on that one.
Yeah, people have said that tunnel's pretty tight, so they understand the height max on that one. But
yeah, like don't raise your hands on that one.
Right.
So is there a top 3 for you in coasters?
It's so hard to narrow it down.
That's what I figured. I mean, with that many.
Right. So I do I say I have a top 10 steel and top 10 wood. Like I break it out because they are such different rides. But I mean, depending on the day, there could be 50 steel coasters in my top 10. Like it's just, when you've been on that many, it really is hard to narrow it down. But like my number one all time, I'm wearing the shirt, Steel Vengeance, Cedar Point. That is my all time favorite. That Mean Streak, the wooden coaster I was saying, where I was sitting on the bench with my mom and she said, if you don't ride Raptor, we'll never go to another park. Mean Streak became Steel Vengeance. So Steel Vengeance was built by a company called RMC, Rocky Mountain Construction, and they're the rock stars. The last 15 years, no one can touch them. Everything they build, it's amazing. Like they don't have a bad ride. And a lot of what they do, they come in, they take a really bad wooden coaster, which is just too rough now, and they create these hybrid coasters where they leave the wood foundation and then put steel track on it. So you get these crazy looking rides because people think they're wooden, but they're doing these insane inversions and they're doing things nobody does. They are crazy. And Steel Vengeance is just like their crown jewel, I think, at least of what I've been on. There's some in Europe I haven't been on yet because I haven't been back over there the last few years. And some people tell me they give it a run, but a lot of people will say Steel Vengeance is their number one, like in the coaster community. It's so intense. And I can only do it 3 or 4 times in a day. That's that intense because it hurts my thighs because the airtime, the negative G's are so violent, which is what I'm looking for. But I'll get thigh bruises if I ride it too much. But then that's just because I'm a big guy and the restraint doesn't fit me very well on those. But yeah, I love that ride. And to say that I can't even ride it more than a few times a day when I'm there, and it's still my number one. I mean, that is pretty crazy.
So let me ask you, you said you have a top 10 steel and top 10 wooden. So what do you do with the hybrids?
They're steel in my eyes.
Okay. All right.
Because
I just wanted
typically you look at what the track is.
Uh-huh.
So that's like a lot of people have been saying like Big Thunder Mountain is going from a wooden coaster to a steel now because they used to see the wooden like structure, but it's always been a steel coaster because it was steel track.
Yeah.
So yeah, the hybrids, I just think they're steel, but the hybrid's a cool name for them because they do look different. So, but I mean, they've been around forever. Like Gemini at Cedar Point was built, I think, in 1978, and that is actually a wood foundation with steel track. So coaster companies have been doing it for a long time, but RMC's just taking it to a new level.
You ever see them doing anything here in Orlando? I'm assuming they've done nothing for Disney or Universal, as intense as they sound.
No. The closest they are Iron Gwazi down in Tampa at Busch Gardens. So Gwazi used to be two really terrible wooden coasters that dueled each other, and they came in and used both of those foundations. And Iron Gwazi is an absolutely fantastic ride. It's easily in my top 10 steel, probably top 5.
Have you done Stardust Racers yet over at Epic?
I have. It is my number 2 now. I love it.
Oh, ever. Wow.
And that past Velocicoaster. Velocicoaster was my 2. So that's what's so cool right now. Like
of all time,
Orlando's actually getting some great roller coasters the last few years. Like things you would not expect in an Orlando theme park. Like I remember I was so excited for Velocicoaster. You know, it looked like it was going to be. So there's a ride called Maverick at Cedar Point, which is made by the same company that did Velocicoaster, Intamin. And it's kind of like, I feel like it was their test. Like, because it's a smaller ride, it's about 130 feet tall, but that thing is so intense and so good. It's in my top 5. And then when Velocicoaster was coming out, everybody was like, this kind of looks like the next version of Maverick. And like, it's Maverick's big brother. Like, it is even more intense than Maverick, I think. I mean, it's bigger, it's faster, but like, yeah, I was shocked when I rode it for the first time. Actually, I got very lucky. They were soft opening it when I was down here on a trip a few years ago. So I got to ride it before it was even open. So I was telling all my coaster buddies like, oh, it's good, you know, but to hear a full train of Orlando theme park guests cheering on a roller coaster every time that thing comes into the station, every time I've been over there, people are cheering. Like, it is that good. And it blows my mind they put that into a theme park here. And then Stardust isn't as intense as Velocicoaster, but I just think it's such a perfectly designed ride. If you know Mako at SeaWorld, I feel like it's like and this is what one of my friends mentioned to me, but he nailed it. It's like they took Mako and Velocicoaster and made a baby. Because it's like a launch coaster that has just a ton of airtime hills. And it's like not super intense where like Mako's that way, where I can ride Mako all day. Literally just sit in the back row. If no one's there, I'll ride it 10 times in a row. Like, and that's how I feel about Stardust. And it's not as intense, but I just love it. And the more I ride it, the better it gets.
You know, I got excited when you said that about Stardust because it's documented in our vlog. I believe that I said that Stardust was the best coaster I have ever ridden that is not super themed like Guardians. Like straight up coaster, I said, that is the best coaster I have ever been on. And you're right, it's magical in a way. Like Guardians, when people ask, you know, what is that like? I said, it sounds funny, but it literally is like you were floating in space and a comet hit you on the butt and you're just you're gliding through space. Stardust is just magical. It's not super intense to me. It has its share of the launches and all that stuff, like you said, but it was magical in a sense where you're going up and you're turning or whatever. And all of a sudden you look over and, oh, there's the other set of cars just riding beside us. And you're watching them. That's what I did. And then you turn away, you do your thing. And then, oh, here they come again. They caught up beside us. It's just an unbelievable experience.
The inversion where you go, the one track, you take turns going over each other It is nuts. I've never. That is like the coolest visual on a roller coaster. If you're sitting now, if you're in the front, you don't catch it, but if you're in the middle to back, it's one of the coolest visuals. Seeing that train fly over you, and then you do it to them like instantly. It's so hard to explain to people how cool that is, but it's such a cool maneuver.
Yeah, it's just a cool feeling. And for Velocicoaster, tell me you weren't faked out by this. If anyone's never ridden Velocicoaster, number one, that drop at the highest peak is amazing. And then when you start your inversion, you don't just come around, you hang. It's hang time. It's seconds of hang time over the walkway with people. I yell living in Diz every time I go by. But there's a couple parts where you hit the water where everybody knows when you do a coaster, if you start to invert, you're going to continue that corkscrew or whatever. Nope. Velocicoaster goes, we're going, psych, we're going, psych. I mean, to me, that is so unique. I haven't ridden as many coasters as you, but I've never seen that happen on another coaster before. So those are two great, unique things. And just when you think you're going fast enough, it has that second launch that you're like, oh, okay, that's fast.
Yeah, you know that second launch when it hits, because it becomes a very different ride. The first and second half of that ride are very, very different. And like you said, that stall, like I've been on a lot of coasters that do this upside down stalls like that, but that one, you're going so fast though, like it happens so quick. Like some of those stalls, like you'll start to like fall out of it like a little bit. That one, you're just flying. And like you said, so that's kind of an Intamin thing where they do the fake turns and bring you back. RMC will do that too. But those are the two most intense companies out there. And like, they do a lot of that overbanking and coming back. So one of my favorite rides, and now they changed the name again this year. I can't think of what it is, but I'm always going to call it I-305. It used to be Intimidator 305 at Kings Dominion in Virginia. And it was themed to Dale Earnhardt, the old NASCAR driver, where the trains actually looked like Dale Earnhardt's black number 3 car. They were actually really cool. I'm not a NASCAR guy, but they did look awesome.
Wow.
And that thing is nuts. It goes 92 miles an hour. It's a 305-foot drop at about, I think, 84 degrees. And they actually had to redo the first turn because it's so intense. People were blacking out during the media previews. Like, and these were coaster content creators blacking out on the ride. So they actually had to come back and redo it. And I'll gray out half the time I ride it. It's the only ride I consistently will gray out on. But the whole second half of the ride is these crazy like hairpin turns, because it's supposed to be like a NASCAR. And like you'll look like you're going to go left and it does this doom and you come back the other way. And Corey, you nailed it with like that whole second half of Velocicoaster. You have all those crazy turns and then the barrel roll over the water. That's the craziest inversion I've ever been on. And I've been on a lot of inversions, but there's not many things I will always hold on for. I always hold on for that thing because I get thrown around on that because those restraints are so forgiving and comfortable, but man, I will get launched on that thing. So like I'm holding on because that barrel roll, I mean, you get 6'5" flying around. It can kind of hurt sometimes, but that barrel roll is nuts. And to be over the water, like that ending's so cool. Oh,
yeah. Do you think it's better at night or day? Because
nighttime.
You can see the Raptors better in the daytime, but night is always better for coasters, I think.
Yeah, the night's always better to me because one, the coaster's been running all day. You know, especially in the summer, coasters as they warm up, they run hotter. So like you get a night ride on Velocicoaster, and it's different than when you go at 8 a.m. That's one cool thing about coasters, like wood and steel. They change throughout the day as you ride them. So like, it's
NASCAR.
A different thing.
It's like NASCAR. If you start a race, you know, at 6 o'clock in the evening, they always talk about how, if cars are running very well in the beginning of the race, don't get too excited because the track's going to change and you're going to be in the back by the end if you don't make the right adjustments. So yeah, wow, that is so cool. I can't wait to tell Jacob about that.
Mhm.
So what do you think about the Hulk coaster? The Hulk coaster is just a massive amount of corkscrews, really, and inversions. It's the entire thing. So you definitely come off a little bit discombobulated off of that one. And once Hagrid's and Velocicoaster opened, we as a family kind of retired the
Mm.
Hulk. We're like, I think we're done with the Hulk. There's no need for that anymore. But Jacob and I were off last month on a day on our own, and it had rained. The park cleared. I mean, we had the
Mm.
run of Islands of Adventure. It was
Oh,
so
that's
much
awesome.
so much so we rode things twice. We were like, huh,
Wow.
well, Hulk is a walk on. Should we do it? And we did. We even found places to explore and walk around. We weren't even sure if we should be over there, but like, hey, let's
I
go look over here. Let's
I
go walk
love
around over here.
islands. I
Yeah.
love islands because they have all these little walkways and paths you can find. Because I've been streaming over there, and like I love to take people back there. You never see another human being, and the park will be packed. And there are multiple areas of the park where this will happen. Like I love to
Yeah.
walk over behind me ship the olive oil. There's all those
Oh.
walkways back there. No one's ever back there, and you get these amazing views of Velocicoaster. Like you can get right up
Yeah.
by it on the water there, and like you might see one other person walking back there. And then over behind Mythos, when I was over
Yes,
there,
we went
the
over
only
there.
people back
Yep.
there were trying to smoke cigarettes, like hiding back
Yeah,
there. So
back
I'm
to the
like, yeah,
restaurant.
no one comes back here. So,
Yeah. He
but
took
yeah,
me
Hulk.
Yeah. Oh, I
Go
was gonna
ahead.
say quickly,
Yeah.
he took me behind what just closed. I keep wanting to call it Sinbad because he just came back from Tokyo. The mythological show. I'm going
Oh,
blank. That just
Poseidon.
Poseidon. He took me back
Yeah.
there. He's like, Dad, you can get
Yeah.
right up and like look through and see the queue or part of the show where it used to be
Yeah.
done. I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah,
And we
and
did.
Sinbad's too. Sinbad's show, you can walk into the theater. Like it's just been
Yeah.
sitting there for years with nothing going
Yeah.
on. It's so weird. I
Yeah.
think
But
I
as
think they
far
have
as
a plan for that, and now that Epic's done, I think Lost Continent's going to get a little love finally. But I think they're going to
yeah.
focus back on the two other parks here again for a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, Hulk, are you a fan or not a fan?
So Hulk's funny because I went to Islands the year it opened, and Hulk was groundbreaking. There had never been a launched. I mean, there had been launch coasters for years, but nothing like that where you actually launched up the lift hill and a big lift hill and do that, barrel roll coming out of there. And it's intense. And it used to be my number one back in like 99 or whatever when it opened. So for whatever reason, so the company that built that, B&M's like one of the gold standard companies for the last 30 plus years. They're very well respected. Everything they build is usually very efficient, very safe, fun, and they stay smooth. But for whatever reason, Hulk is the exception. They tore Hulk down 9-10 years ago and completely rebuilt it because it had gotten so bad. And it was great when they first opened. It was like, oh, awesome, now Hulk's back. And I can't believe how quickly that thing has gotten rough again. I actually got a headache on it a couple years ago, and I'm not one to complain about roughness typically. I don't ride Hulk on every trip to Islands. I will definitely skip it because it is not as good as it used to be. It's still a fun ride, but sometimes you get that head banging on there, and I think it depends on the train too. Like, because I think one of the trains, there's something off with it. Because I'll have a totally smooth ride one time, the next time it's like just getting bad. Like I fought Mike Tyson or something. But the ride over at Universal that I think, well, it's getting torn down. Rip Ride Rocket, I don't touch. I think that is one of the worst big time additions to the Orlando area in the last 25 years. It's been a failure from the day it opened, in my opinion. They had issues with the trains forever. They've had weird incidents. It's always kind of rough. And now just the last year or two, I think it's unrideable. I declared that last summer. My friend and I we were doing a vlog where we were trying to ride all the coasters from Universal, both Universal parks, SeaWorld, and the 4 Disney parks all in one day to see if we could do it. It's 26 coasters. We did not succeed. But I remember, and he's a coaster guy too. He's been on over 800. But when we got done with Rip Ride Rocket, I was about to look at him and go, I'm never riding that again. And he looked at me and said it before I could say it. He goes, I think that's my last ride on Rip Ride Rocket. So there's a lot of people that are not going to be sad when that thing goes. Usually I'll go give a ride a courtesy goodbye here in the Orlando area when they're closing. I will go there to like spit on its grave as it gets razed to the ground, because that thing is brutal. Oh,
it's funny, it's funny you say that, because Jacob and I spoke about that the other day or whatever, and I said to him, I really don't care. We wrote it a few weeks back. I really don't care if I give it a goodbye ride. And he's like, well, I'd kind of like to do it one more time. So I may have to do it one more time because he wants to. But yeah, it's another rough one. It's very rough.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not I don't know. It's not crazy unique, right? I mean,
right.
It's kind of a blah excitement with it. It has an inversion.
Right.
But the coolest thing is you go straight up. After that, the real thrill is kind of gone, and you're just trying to save your head and your neck while you're on it. But there's something that has to be said about listening to Rainbow Connection while going that fast and upside down.
True.
So that's pretty
and
cool.
I used to always go with Moving Right Along. That was my
Oh, yes, I've done that one too. Moving Right
Yep.
Along. Yep. Yes, for sure. Myers and the Mouse is in chat. What's up, Myers?
So are you saying that's what we're getting out of Rock and Roller Coaster, is Moving Right Along and Rainbow Connection?
Yeah.
The Electric Mayhem versions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Do you know who is doing the new Monsters coaster? And what do you expect from that?
So I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like they're probably working with Vekoma. They work with Vekoma on quite a few things, and it does look like a similar ride to what Vekoma has done in the past, the Vekoma family suspended coasters, and they're really good. So that would be my guess. I don't know off the top of my head, but I would assume they're working with Vekoma on that. And I'm excited to see what it is. I think it could be a really cool ride.
Do you think what's the height or age going to be for this? Yeah, is it going to be kind of, Disney never has anything super intense, right? Where kids can't ride it. So is it going to be more of the likeness of like a Slinky Dog, or more like a Rock and Roller Coaster? What's it going to be?
I feel like it's going to be closer to Slinky Dog. I think they're going for more of a family ride here. I looked this up the other day because I was curious. We were actually talking about it. John from Fun to Be Free was streaming, and we were talking about the ride in the chat. And so I was throwing in, it's probably Vekoma, and I went and looked, and for the Vekoma family suspended coasters at like Dollywood and some other places, it's 39 inches, which is lower than like Space Mountain. So like 39 inches, that's a good ride for Disney to put in. So I think it may be a little more thrilling than Slinky, because I think Slinky's a great family coaster, but like there's not much to it, for like thrills. But I think this will provide a little more thrill just because it's suspended. I do think the elevator lift will be cool to watch that happen, because that's unique. I wonder what the point of doing that is, because I feel like that's just another thing that can fail. So they better have that working, because if the elevator lift doesn't work, the ride doesn't run. So I always think of those things that, like, is it cool? Sure. Is it worth the cool factor? I don't know. I guess we'll see. But
I think it ties in heavily to what the door factory is like, right? The doors do have to go from the floor up. So, where it might be risky, I think it's a nice touch, and we'll see if it's worth the risk.
For the theme, it does work, definitely. Yep.
Yeah, I think people will be like, this is cool. We're going up like the doors,
Right.
So do you love Slinky though? Like, I love Slinky. Like, it doesn't have to be super thrilling. It's just fun and it's cute. Yep. And even though it doesn't look like it when we go there, because the wait times just stay so solid over there. Slinky's a must do for me every time I go to Hollywood, but we probably do it once every 8 times we go.
Right. I'm kind of the same way. I really like Slinky. I think it's super fun, but the wait times, it's brutal. If I do it, luckily, because I'm a morning person, if I do want to ride Slinky, it's usually the first thing I do when I'm at Hollywood Studios. So, I've been waiting about 40, 45 minutes lately. So that I can stomach, but the 90 minutes, and I've been lucky. I have a friend that is pretty well connected in the Toy Story Land area. So sometimes this is before I was streaming, but he would pixie dust me and let me skip that 90-minute line sometimes, which is very handy. But that was usually the only time I would ride it. But I do love it. It's just, that line's brutal. But I think it's a great family coaster, and it's exactly what that park needed, because the issue with that place for years was they just didn't have anything for kids. Lawrence, we were talking about this the other day, that you can't fathom the Toy Story Mania rope drop rush that used to happen. It was like the running of the bulls. And if you try to explain that to people now, because the park was different, like I was saying, the entrance used to be in Pixar Place. They forced you through the arch, which made it even more crazy. But they just didn't have anything for kids. So Toy Story Mania was this 90-minute wait for a decade until they brought in Toy Story Land. And then Galaxy's Edge helped, and now there is more stuff everybody can ride, but for a long time, it wasn't that way over there. So I think that's where Toy Story Land was such a great addition. And Slinky is such a perfect Disney coaster,
You said it. It is perfect, because I've always described it as it is right there in between adult coaster and child coaster. It pushes the limits for the child, and it's right at the baseline for most adults. It is perfect.
I always say it's great at Disney because it's you can slowly build up, Barnstormer, Seven Dwarfs, right? Then Slinky's probably your next one, or maybe Big Thunder or something. But that's the nice thing at Disney. You can work your way up to things, and then then there's Guardians, and Tron and Rock and Roller Coaster, which are, a little more thrilling, or Expedition Everest, which I think Everest is the one true thrilling coaster at Disney. If I had to say, if you took that ride out of Disney and put it anywhere, people even without the mountain, and the theming, people are like, oh, that's a really fun coaster. That's a big drop. Where this is where I always struggle to rank Guardians as a coaster. If you took Guardians out of that building and took all the theming out of it, and it was just a coaster in a field that launched you backwards and spun around, okay, it's fun. But it's not going to be in my top whatever list, where Guardians is legit in my top 10 favorite coasters, just because the entire package with it. So that's where Disney's always interesting, because they put so much theming in. They can make a more boring ride seem a little more exciting. Just Space Mountain being in the dark, kids think it's going so fast. It's you're going 28 miles an hour. It's not that much. This is just a carnival coaster, basically, like a galaxy coaster. So I do love that, though, that kids can just kind of work their way up. Where Universal, there's no entry there. You got Hippogriff, and then everything else is this is a big time coaster. Have fun, So that's always the big difference between those two parks.
Yeah, if there's one coaster over at Universal I hope never goes away, it's the Mummy. I just love the Mummy. For the longest time, it was my favorite coaster ever. And then Guardians came along, and you got to think about it. Everest came along, but the Mummy might have been my most first intense indoor type of dark ride coaster, and I fell in love with it, and it's still great today.
Mummy is probably my favorite ride at that park, if I had to pick, because of the major parks here, Universal Studios is my least favorite. I would rather go to SeaWorld and Busch Gardens than Universal. I miss the old 90s park. I miss a lot of those rides, Confrontation, although we wouldn't have Mummy, but Mummy's the real star over there for me. I still love E.T. and I like Men in Black, but I could take or leave most of the other rides over there at this point. And I'm not a Gringotts guy at all. I don't like that ride. But
Oh,
yeah,
see, I
I
love
do
Green
love
Gots.
Mummy. You like
Yeah,
you
I do
like you
love.
do like Green Gut?
I love Green Gots. I think the Mummy and Green Gots are the best rides over there, in my
Hmm.
opinion. I love the theming of there's nothing intense really about it. It's just
No,
it's a faster dark ride. Green Gots, I guess, is what it really is.
like I
Um,
struggle to call it a coaster, honestly, because like
yeah,
it's a lot
yeah,
of
it kind of is not.
stopping and
Yeah,
watching, and then you just get moved to the next room, and like yeah, I struggle to even call it a coaster, and like I'm not a huge Harry Potter guy, so I think that's part of it with me that like I don't care about the story, so I'm not like invested, but I still appreciate the Harry Potter rides. Like Battle with the Ministry is incredible at Epic. Like even though I have never seen any of the Magical Beasts movies, like it's amazing. They like the best animatronics I've ever seen. Like
hmm
it's I thought some of the animatronics were actually team members that they paid to like be in the ride. No joke. They're that good.
yeah, right. I agree. I
Yep.
was like, is that real?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and
Animatronic.
like I'm friends with someone pretty high up at Epic, and so I got to go to a couple team member previews before they even did like the public previews, and so like riding with him was always exciting because he knows I've been all over, and he wanted my opinion, and he even said at the end of Battle with the Ministry, he goes, "What do you think of those people we pay to be the Death Eaters?" And we all kind of stopped for a second because it was like I actually could believe that,
Yes.
that's how good the animatronics were. But yeah, that park is impressive. I'm
Mm.
very big fan of Epic.
So Thad, are you saying you don't like the Fast and Furious ride?
Oh, so bad.
The party bus.
It's
What?
so bad. Oh my God. We did that the year it
Real.
opened. We were down here, and I was with my sister's family, and we waited like an hour for it, not knowing anything. Because I always avoid spoilers. I don't want to know. Like, even though I'm in content now, I still avoided Epic, like until I went. Like, I didn't want to. I knew the
I
lands, I
still
knew the
avoid
rides,
things.
but I didn't watch bio reconstructs, flyovers. I didn't want to
Mhm.
know anything.
Oh, even
So like,
that.
I'm just
Okay.
yeah. I don't even look at that. I didn't want to know the layout. Like, I wanted to be surprised when I walked in there. Um,
hmm
but yeah, I don't even know where I was going with that. But yeah, I lost that one.
Now he mentions Fast and Furious, but over at Universal
Oh,
Studios
that's
Hollywood, there's a new coaster coming where the cars drift, and it looks like an outside Guardians coaster, at least for that
yep,
portion of the ride to me. So,
yep.
I don't know if you know
I'm
any other
curious
details.
to see that. I was more excited about it because I thought it was going to be West Coast Velocicoaster. That's what they kind of hinted at for the last couple years, or probably just internet nerds assuming it would be like the West
Mm.
Coast version. And with that terrain out there, I was like, oh, this could be really cool. And then when they announced it and it was a spinning ride, I got a little disappointed because I'm not always the biggest like spinning coaster fan. They're usually not that great. But you're right, it could be like Guardians. It does look very similar to it. So, and I've actually never been to that park. So I was holding out, waiting for Fast and Furious because I thought, oh, it's going to be the next Velocicoaster. And now I don't even know if that ride's enough to get me to go. So we'll see.
Real quick, top 3 worst rides between Universal and Disney. What do you think? Everybody can answer in
Ooh,
the chat too, and comments if
top
you're listening
3
on the rewind.
worst rides. Let's see. Mission Space is number 1.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't even have thought of that one.
I can't stand it. I just think it's boring. It's not like it's not like it spins too much for me. I think it's boring. I think the pre-show is boring. I think the queue is
The
boring. I
pre-show is
think the ride is
torturous.
boring. Like I'm just, it just does nothing for me. Where, especially they built this centrifuge and then it only goes to 2.5 Gs. Because I'm like, hey, let's crank that thing up and let's see let's get some real weightlessness here, But I've ridden that once since I moved down here to a little over 2 years ago, and it was just to get a POV for it for content. Like I cannot stand that ride. Plus, I loved Horizons, so I'm very bitter that is what replaced Horizons. So yes, I'm gonna put on my like old man rant hat, but it just pains me that that's what replaced my possibly my all-time favorite attraction.
I don't blame you on that one. I don't blame you.
Yeah. So
for
I'm
me,
still bitter about that.
Yeah. Did you pick 3?
No, I ranted about Mission Space so long.
Mission Space Orange and Green are in the top 3.
You're in the same.
Yeah, put them both in there. Let's see. I genuinely like most things. I mean, Fast and Furious, and I'll say, Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon. I think that ride's garbage, and I don't like Jimmy Fallon, so we don't need to.
You know, when Jimmy Fallon at least throws the pizza out, it should smell like pizza. Like, why doesn't Universal do the smells like Disney? Like, at least make it smell like pizza. For me, it's really easy.
That was a one and done for me. Never did it again.
It for me, it's Fast and Furious. It's oh gosh, it's the comic one, the comic shooter there that's new that replaced Shrek. I can rant about that one. You get rid of Shrek
the
4D,
Minions.
To put in the comic Minions. I'm just going blank on that. Both of those, and this is very unpopular for a lot of people, but Buzz Lightyear and Tomorrowland, 3 worst rides.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd rather do Tomorrowland.
Wow, worst ride. Okay, so
I'd rather do Tomorrowland Speedway and eat a Mickey ice cream sandwich and steer with one hand than go on Buzz. But it's fun when I go on with my wife because she likes to sabotage me and make me face places I can't shoot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, I'm not. So, but maybe with the little revamp of Buzz, I'm hoping to be a bigger fan because nobody knows whose red dot is whose, and that's just my big thing. And it's tough to stream in there. Let's talk signal. I have some difficulty in there, especially when you go in that tunnel that makes you dizzy. That looks like it's kind of like the same area.
The only issue I have in Tomorrowland is if I ride the People Mover right by where you're by Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, like my signal will fall off a cliff sometimes. And I tried to go to Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor one night, and I had to leave the queue. Like once I got like right outside the theater, I lost it, which is crazy because with the connection bonding, like I wouldn't think and John was with me. He was fine. And I'm like, I got to go. Like I had to bail because it was not coming back. So that's my one little place. But otherwise, I'm fine in Buzz. But that is a tough one to stream by yourself. Because like I'm trying to get Galactic Hero whenever I do it, so like trying to steer with one hand while you're holding the camera and do everything, it can be a lot. So, but I'm excited about the makeover. I've always liked Buzz. Like I remember when it opened, I was really excited. But I'm a lifelong gamer too, so like and I'm a first-person shooter guy, so like I think that's part of it. Like it lets me show off my old Halo skills, you know.
Yeah, nice. I'm not a good shooter. Not a good shooter. Oh, I'm terrible.
I am ready for new guns, though, because those things.
Yeah, let's see these new targets and see what happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
That ride is just... it's time.
It is time. Well, and plus, like, the last 5 times I think I've been on it, one of the 100,000 point targets is the left hand of the robot in the first room, and it's only giving 100 points. And it's driving me crazy because I hit it 6 times today and I had 600 points coming out of that room. And I didn't get my Galactic Hero because of it. So, so bitter.
So, what's your next trip if you could plan one?
Oh, geez. I mean, I would love to get over to Europe, but that's probably not feasible right now. There's been so many new rides the last 9 years since I've been over there, and there's so many parks I love. But I think the trip I'd be more likely to do here in the near future would be, I haven't been to Six Flags Over Georgia, Dollywood, and Carowinds in Charlotte since 2012. So I'm due to get back to all those. They've all added rides I want to do. And then on top of Six Flags Over Georgia in Atlanta, they have a fun spot there, sister park to the 2 fun spot parks down here in Orlando. But so that fun spot there is tiny and has very, very few rides. Like it looks more like an arcade, like fun place. But they decided to build this RMC coaster there. and by all accounts, it's like a top 5 coaster in the world. So like that is definitely on my list. So yeah, I think I'll fly up to Atlanta sometime, hit those, probably drive to Charlotte and drive to Dollywood, because all 3 of those parks are great. So I wanna hit those again. For whatever reason, that's been like my Bermuda Triangle the last decade plus, where I haven't got back to those places. I don't know why.
So let me ask you about this one. This was brought up to me by a family member. Siren's Curse. Talk to me about that one.
Yeah, so that's Cedar Point's new ride this year. Unique to the United States. There's only one other of these coaster types anywhere in the world, and it is in Taiwan, ironically. But it's called a tilt coaster. So what you do, you go up your lift hill like normal. When you get to the top, you flatten out, and it's a flat, like brake run, basically, and the track ends. Well, once you stop there, the track flips you to a 90-degree. You're facing straight down and connects to the rest of the track for the ride and holds you there and then drops you. So that's the new thing this year. I actually have a friend who's not a coaster person that he reached out to me like 3 weeks ago. He's like, hey, should I take my family to Cedar Point? I'm like, absolutely, because they love coasters. And so he messaged me, didn't even tell me they were going, but they were there this weekend, and he loves Siren's Curse. He was raving about it. So that's good enough for me. But I've had a couple coaster friends hit it, and they all really liked it. And of course, I have a lot of friends that have ridden the one in Taiwan, because that's just the circle I run in, and people say they're pretty crazy rides. So I don't know if it would do much for me, just because like I don't get scared like hanging there. So, but I have heard it's a good layout, so I am curious about it. But I don't even know if it'd be in my top 5 for like Cedar Point coasters after I ride it. But I need to ride it first, so can never judge just by looking.
86 JB wants to know if you're going to go to Six Flags in Saudi Arabia for those record-breaking rides.
Who I would love to. Have you guys seen that coaster?
No.
I don't think so.
It's what is it? Is it Falcon's Fury? No, Falcon's Fury is the drop ride in Tampa. I can't remember what it's called, but actually at IAPA a couple years ago, if you guys know what IAPA is, it's the big theme park and amusement industry convention every year in Orlando. I got to go a couple years ago. I got invited by a friend, but I actually got to sit in the car for this ride. They had the front train there. But so it is, I want to say, now I'm going to get my numbers wrong, but it's over 500 feet tall. I think it's almost 600. It drops you off a cliff. And at the bottom of the cliff, it has magnets that make you go faster. So it goes like 100 and I want to say 60, 70 miles an hour. And they've been testing it the last couple weeks, and some videos have come out where I'm looking at this thing going, whoa. Like this is the first ride I've ever seen where I'm like legit concerned that people are going to have heart issues that they didn't know about, that this is going to uncover. Like this thing is going to be intense. And like, it sounds crazy too. It drops down and you hear the magnets hit it, and it just makes this crazy noise as it takes off. And it's like, and then it flies over the top, and it looks like, the one description I'd read, apparently it's like 8 seconds of weightlessness going down the second hill. So like you do not touch your seat like the entire time. And I'm like, wow, this could be the real deal. I don't know. I just wish it wasn't in Saudi Arabia, because I don't know if I'm ever going to get over to Saudi Arabia.
Well, you have to once they open the new park. Got to get over to that area of the world. Just make a whole little Middle East trip.
Part of it that scares me too, just outside of, that's kind of not always the most stable area, especially for like an American to go. But the UAE, so I have friends throughout the industry, like pretty high up positions at different places. And a good friend of mine has worked for Universal for years. So he was over in Dubai for years because they were going to open a Universal park there. So he ended up working for a couple other companies through Universal. They had some deals, but he opened a couple parks over there. And he told me, because he's my height, like same size, and he said, do not come, because they have 6'4" height limits and they're very strict. And he said, if he was still there, he would have got me on everything, but there's no chance for me. So like, I'm never going to go to Dubai from the sounds of it. But, so that worries me too, that they're going to have some sort of similar thing. Like I would hate to get all the way to Saudi Arabia and not be able to ride this thing.
Wow.
Yep.
All right. What else we got here, Lawrence?
Okay, so we talked a little bit about Disney coasters. Do you have one that you're like, not for me, one and done? Other than maybe Goofy?
Yeah, I mean, like Barnstormer, I rode just to get the credit, and I'll ride it sometimes just to be silly or whatever. But I ride Rock and Roller Coaster the least, and that's not just because I'm streaming. I do find it to be pretty rough.
Very rough. Very rough.
I don't find the layout to be that exciting. So I'm excited because I'm a Muppets fan. Like they're gonna do the overlay on it, but I'm curious what they're gonna do. Fingers crossed they rip that track out and totally replace it, but I don't think that's going to happen. But it definitely needs it. They've tried with new trains the last couple years and they run fine for like a week, and then I just think that track's just beyond its usefulness. So yeah, that's probably the one that I ride the least. If I'm just hanging out in the park. With streaming, it's tough because like can't do Space Mountain, can't do Tron, But Rock and Roller Coaster's never really been. Well, I used to love it a lot more, but the last 5 years, I don't ride it very often.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's as rough or rougher than Hulk as far as giving you a neck ache or a headache for sure. And
I would agree.
Really, the only exciting part of it, really, of that coaster is the launch. After that, I could take a nap. Like it's not really.
You're literally just driving around on the interstate. Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, besides the speed, Slinky Dog is more thrilling. It has a lot more variation and unique things, like the inchworm.
Well, I like the ending with the airtime hills on Slinky.
Yeah,
I'm all about
that.
negative G's. So
seriously, yeah.
I get more out of that than I do on Rock and Roller Coaster, definitely.
Yeah, you could really take a nap after the launch. So it's not.
Yep.
It's and I hope too, because you're calling it Muppets. Little kids can't ride this. So
I know.
Are they going to tame this thing down? Yeah, you can't call it Muppets and just have it for just adults.
That's my biggest issue with I remember the day they announced it, I actually made like a vlog because I was doing vlogs or just a video where I was excited because I'm like, oh, hey, we're losing Muppets 3D, but hey, they're still in the park, and I'm a coaster guy and I'm excited. And then I put the video out and I started getting comments and people are like, well, I don't ride roller coasters and I love the Muppets and now I don't have any Muppets. And I was like, oh yeah, not everybody's like me, that loves coasters, and especially the Muppets that are for everybody, and Rock and Roller Coaster is not for everybody. And that's not just because they're not tall enough. There's just people that don't like roller coasters. So the Muppets, yeah, it doesn't make sense to me, but I'm still happy just because at least we don't completely lose the Muppets, but yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I was just going to touch on something too, and I just happened to glance over at the chat too, and Jay Dubs is in my head. She says, "Are little kids even watching Muppets though?" So think about this: we're looking at Muppets things, and we're thinking that our kids should be into this, but they're not getting new Muppets content. So maybe Muppets really is just for us. They don't do enough to get Finley, Lawrence's daughter, into the Muppets. They're not doing anything. There's no new Muppet shows on Disney Plus for kids. There are no new movies. So I guess it really is just for us, but it appears to be a child thing.
Disney has never figured out what to do with the Muppets, and it bothers me so much because there is no better union than the Muppets and Disney, and somehow Disney has fumbled it for 25 years. Like, I felt like they were finally getting it going. You know, they had that really good Muppet movie, probably 15 years ago or so, but like that was great. You know, Save the Muppets, like, and then I thought the Muppet, that like kind of Office, that primetime show they had on ABC, I thought that was hilarious, but that was more adult oriented, right?
Yeah.
Kids weren't watching that. So like sometimes they do great things, and then it's like sometimes they just don't know what to do, I feel like, and it bothers me. Yeah.
Unfortunately, too, you know, things change over time, right? Where what was funny 3 decades ago is no longer funny. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're gonna get some of us that are like, "Oh man, I love the Three Stooges," but no kid now, even as they get a little bit older, are gonna be like, the Three Stooges was like the bee's knees. That was crazy."
Yep.
It's generational, and maybe no matter what you do with the Muppets, sadly, it's just never gonna come back. Maybe.
Could be. Well,
I'm
and then part of it too is just
I'm gonna put on the
kids
Little
these
Rascals
days
for
have
Finley
so
and see if
much.
she likes it.
That's a
There's
good
so
experiment.
many-
'Cause I
yeah,
love-
that is a good experiment.
I loved it.
Because like there's so much stuff for kids to watch now compared to like when we were kids. Like, yeah,
That's
you
true.
could go watch movies from the 60s and 70s because we didn't have that many movies out yet. Or like we couldn't just go watch any TV show. We couldn't
Yeah.
just pull it up and watch it. You just hoped it was maybe on reruns in syndication or something if it was an older show. Where now, I mean, and just think of like what we do. We create content on YouTube, and think of the millions of hours created every day on YouTube, where I just think you're going to see less and less TV shows and things, and like more content taking over. I just feel like that's what's happening. And so, yeah, when you have this much stuff to watch, plus new content coming out all the time, including TVs and movies, kids aren't going to go back and watch the Muppet Show from 1976, you know, because they're like, well, why would I watch this? There's probably some kid, you know, I can't even sit here and act like I know what kids shows are, like, because I don't have kids. So, but yeah, like Bluey or something, you know, like they get that, but like, yeah, you don't hear about the Muppets. Yeah.
And I
So
think going
let's-
back to what you were saying about the Muppet movies that Disney has done, I thought that they were very well done, and I thought Jim Henson would have been proud. That felt like a Jim Henson production, those two.
Yep.
And even a masterful job on the Haunted Mansion special. So
Good
that's
call.
what bugs
Yes,
me.
that was really good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know where Disney seems to lose confidence or what in it. Maybe it's the box office. I never took a look at how those films have done, but you know, I wanted Disney to do more. I was very proud of those films. They were really good. And the second one there is one of my daughter Jill's favorites. She loves it. And she's 18.
Yep. Yeah, I love that first one. And like you could tell, was it Jason Segel? That's his name, right? He was the lead. But like, and he wrote it, and you could tell he wrote that with love. He loved the Muppet, and you could feel that like in the movie. Like that's what I say about Epic Universe. When you walk around there, you can feel the love that was put into that park. Like these were people that loved theme parks, that built that park. And it's not just about the rides they put in. And yes, they have some incredible rides, but I'm so excited when I can go to that park with an annual pass, like where I don't have to pay to go and just hang out. Because Celestial Park is going to be my new Epcot. Like that is just where I'm going to go hang out, and not just go hang out with friends or whatever. It's going to be such a cool place. And like, I don't know if you guys know this, but so Celestial Park right now is part of, you know, you ticket, you come in the main entrance, right? Well, Celestial Park is going to become like their city walk there. That's going to be free to get into. And the portals will have ticket gates that you go through. Yes.
Really?
Yes. So that's the plan within the next year. And that's why you see so many like restaurants and things being built in Celestial.
So
and
there's
all the
more
bars,
then.
and you get all that live entertainment and stuff. Oh yeah, they have plans there. where, yeah, you'll get to get in there free. You can pay to ride Stardust or the Carousel, because those are the two rides there. You can pay separately if you want to. And if you want to go into the portals, you just take your ticket. And yeah, if you look when you walk into the portals, there's 2 or 3 squares on the ground. This is just because my friend showed me this when we were there, but that's where they'll set up the facial recognition ticket takers. So yeah, that way then you can have people out in Celestial Park hanging out at night, and you could close off Super Nintendo Land for a private party for a company because those portals close. So you could still, they have a lot of ideas that are going to kind of change the industry over there. Like I'm really excited to see what happens. But yeah, like I was saying though, like you can just feel the love at that park. And like, I don't even need, I'm a ride guy, but I do love theming. I know we're talking coasters tonight, but like Disney World is my favorite like place. Like because I love the theming and everything. And like Epic's just so good. Like I say it on my stream all the time, but I've been to Tokyo Disney. I've been to Tokyo Disney Sea. Tokyo Disney Sea is the best theme park in the world, hands down. It is absolutely incredible. And Epic's the only place I've been that is even in the same conversation. Like it is that good.
And we just dropped a vlog on Tokyo Disney Sea last night. So if anybody wants to go back and see that, when my son Jacob went out there, incredible footage, beautiful park. He's inspired us to try to go in a couple of years. So,
it's so good. And yeah, and just Tokyo is awesome too. So like, yeah, but those
yeah,
parks,
we want to do all that. Yeah. But yeah, Epic. I can't wait. It's such a tease. Oh, go ahead. Finish. I was just going to say, Epic's
it's so
just
good.
a tease. I can't wait to be a pass holder. I will be there day one.
The minute that goes on the pass, boom, I'll be over there. I cannot wait. Yes. That's killing me now because I've gone 4 times because I got to do 2 team member previews. And then I got to go second day and I went Memorial Day. And I was sitting in my car on Memorial Day, like going to leave the park. And I was actually getting like sad because I'm like, I don't know the next time I get to come back here. Because I can't be dropping $200 every time I want to go over there. Like,
try multiplying it by 4 or 3 or 2. That's why I haven't gone. Like I've had soft spots in my mind this summer. I even thought about it again today, hoping that prices would change. Today I was like, we have plans to go to we call it the ghetto now, over to Universal Studios and Islands. Just go back to the ghetto, the old neighborhood. We love it. But I was like, well, maybe I could surprise Jacob and he and I will just go or something. And then it's like, no, because it's going to cost me hundreds of dollars for one day. So we're just trying to hold out.
Look at the prices in like early September, because they're like $140 on some days, and I don't think it's going to be very busy either. So
right. Well, the problem is, he's in school.
Plus, it's not going to be surface of the sun hot. Right. That's the hottest park on the planet. Like it is.
Yeah, there are no trees.
No, there's no.
You got to put more trees.
Yep.
So I'm gonna bring up a couple questions that folks have been putting into chat. Michelle Hollistown and I think Sunlit also asked, have you ever been to Kings Island?
Oh yeah, been to Kings Island 4 or 5 times now. I like Kings Island. I'm a bigger Cedar Point fan, but Kings Island, like, it's always unfortunate. I always go to Cedar Point and then Kings Island when I'm on a trip because I'm usually used to work my way east. And it's really unfair to Kings Island to go there after you go to Cedar Point because, like, Kings Island's amazing, but after you go to Cedar Point, it's like, oh, okay, yep, this is kind of like, and I know Kings Island fans are Kings Island fans, but like it's like Diet Cedar Point. They've got a lot of rides. They got a lot of big rides. They're not quite as big as Cedar Point, and they're not quite as good, but I do really like Kings Island. Mystic Timbers is an amazing wooden coaster there. People will talk about the Beast all day long. I find it to be kind of boring. Don't tell anybody. But that's one of the rides in the coaster community that is constantly argued about because people absolutely love it. I've never had a ride on it that made me even want to go back and ride it again the same day. So like I don't get it. Because that's one of those rides people are like, we got to ride it at night after it rains and on a Tuesday in June. Like it's all these weird, has to be perfect. And it's like, well, if I can't just ride it and love it, like then I don't want to hear all the, all the intangibles that need to happen or whatever. So,
Yeah.
but no, Kings Island, great park. Been there a few times.
Yeah. Fellow Magical Mel wants to know, how is Barkley doing now?
Barkley's doing pretty well. She's back here snoozing behind me. I'm sure some people caught her on camera there.
Yeah.
She hurt her leg last week. She sprained her shoulder somehow and just woke me up in the middle of the night limping the one night, and so I took her in. But yep, she's doing well. So got her on some meds. That's why she's zonked out back here.
Yeah. Excuse me. Crayola Kid asks, if you came to her area, would you do any of the coasters? She's out in Western Washington.
Western Washington. Oh wow. Yeah, you don't hear much about the parks up there. The one big ride in the Pacific Northwest is in Vancouver, and it's at this fair that's only open for like 2 or 3 weeks a year, but it's supposed to be a really good wooden coaster. So that's always been kind of one of those, like, maybe I'll get up there someday. But yeah, you don't hear much about the Pacific Northwest. There's just not a whole lot of parks up there. Idaho has a pretty cool place called Silverwood I would like to get to. They have some really cool wooden coasters. But yeah, I think she said something about wooden waves. Or what was it? Wild Waves? I've never even heard of that park.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. So what's next for you and your channel? I know you just hit 2,000 subscribers, which is great.
Yep. Yeah, just hit 2K, so we're going full steam ahead with the streaming. Thank you. Yeah, it's been so, like, I made the switch June 8th to go to streaming, and at that time I had about 1,260 subscribers. And so in just 7 weeks, 6.5 weeks here, my channel's grown by over like 60%.
Yeah.
Just in streaming. So doing the content and the vlogs and stuff for a couple years, and like scratching and clawing for every subscriber that I got. And then like I come over to streaming and it's just been this completely different, like I actually feel like the momentum happening. Like I feel like it's growing, so it's really exciting right now. But yeah, I'm still pretty raw and blue in this world, haven't even been doing it 2 months. So just going to keep adding new graphics and things. I got the wait time banner now on there. People seem to like that. Shout out to Pile Adventures for building that out.
Yes.
But yeah, just going to keep going and see where where we are in a few months, because I'm shocked how quickly the community has grown. Like I have like my people already, like in the chat there, like every day, like it is that I always thought it sounded kind of cheesy when I'd hear streamers talk about, like, oh, this is like, they're my friends, they're my family, and like, you do get excited when you see like someone's name in the chat, like, oh, they're here, cool,
Yeah.
like, or like, I just always kind of crack up. People are like, oh, I'm so sorry I'm late, and it's like, oh, I'm just glad you're here, or so like, it's been really cool. Like the streamer community has been amazing. Like I said, Pete's community brought me in, like, and then just being part of the streamer network, like getting to meet all the other streamers. And then, now I go watch all these streamers, if I'm at home, I always have somebody on while I'm working on stuff. I'm hopping in and out of the chat. I'm getting to know people in their communities. Well, then they come over and watch my stream, during the day or whatever. And then you already recognize that name, and it's just so cool how everyone's kind of working together, trying to build each other up. And I know you said this, Lawrence, but like, I don't know if it was tonight, we talk so often, I guess, but like the coolest thing for me, yeah, it's great. The channel's growing and all this, but like, and it's awesome to collaborate with the streamers, but I've made a lot of friends the last couple months, and like local friends that I can hang out with in the parks, and that's just been a game changer, because I didn't have that in the vlogging community. I never really made any connections. Didn't seem like people wanted to share or like collaborate there as much, where like here it was like you threw it out there and look how many channels are on the network now. And like that Discord is so active now, like where
Yeah.
we're all trading ideas and working with each other. You know, it was slow in the early going, but you can see it now where like ideas are really starting to take, pop up, and like we're helping each other out. So it's been awesome. Yeah.
Well, good. You're a big part of the community and the network, so we are definitely glad to have you. And Thad normally is streaming at 9 o'clock in the morning. What's your favorite park to stream at?
I love Epcot. I mean, Epcot's my favorite park. Outside of like Tokyo Disney Sea, Epcot is like, well, I still would say Epcot's probably my favorite over Disney Sea. It's just Disney Sea is the best park I've ever been to. But I've always loved Epcot from even as a kid in the 80s. The edutainment, I loved it. Am I in love with everything they've done the last few years? No, but like we also have a home run with Guardians. I'll ride Living with the Land every time I'm over there. Like that's my Epcot people mover. I always joke, but like I love Epcot. Like I was talking about Epic, I can go to Epcot and not ride a thing and have a great time. Like it's just, to me, it's like almost like my city park. Like I can go there and just walk around and have a good time, but yeah, just love to stream it too. I'm actually excited. I'm going to Epcot tomorrow, and it's been over a week since I've been to Epcot. Now I was thinking tonight driving home, I'm like, I'm excited to go to Epcot tomorrow. Like it's literally only been 7 days since I've been there, but I'm like, I missed Epcot. So
Yeah.
being a local and being a streamer is such a weird life, isn't it? Where like Corey, like you get it. Like if you don't go to the parks for a couple weeks, you're just like, oh man, what's going on? Like I didn't go to the parks for 3 weeks in May, and I was losing my mind. I couldn't stand
see,
it.
I've never done that unless I was away and away that
I was
that
so
long.
busy.
But,
Yeah.
But for me, it's Wednesday to Saturdays usually, and I can't wait for the next time. Like I try to tell our viewers, okay, it's midnight now, and we're leaving Magic Kingdom. I'm a little bit sad. I'm sad. I am not going to be back here for 3 or 4 days or whatever. And it's all relative, right? We understand that a lot of people that watch will never come, or certain people have a countdown, and it might be 300 days, it might be 100 days. So it's all relative to what we get to go. But for us, that's our thing. It's like we love it too, and we know we can come again, but I can't come for 3 more days, and it's like it bums me out a little bit. And that's how much we love the park.
Question I get all the time from like my friends back home, in Iowa that aren't into the theme parks and coasters like I am. They're always saying like, does it get old? Like, especially now I'm going 5 days a week,
No.
And it's like the day I walk into Epcot and I don't smile, like I'm done, and that hasn't happened. Like I'm never going to walk under that train station and onto Main Street and not have the biggest smile on my face. Like, how can you not love that, And even Animal Kingdom, like walking into any of these parks, it's just like, it just makes me happy. Even Universal, even going to SeaWorld for a day, I'm excited, I just love theme parks. So it never gets old for me.
Yeah, I mean, we spend most of our time as streamers behind the camera, and they can't see our face, but I'm smiling ear to ear most of the time when I'm walking around talking to them. Like I'm seeing things for the first time, I really do.
And that's the thing, even if you're not on screen, like if you really weren't into it, people would know. They can tell.
They would know.
Right?
Yeah.
So like you can't fake it with streaming. I think that's what I love about it, because I felt like I was faking it when I do vlogs. Like you have to be this way too big of a character, because you're in, hey there, and like I never felt comfortable doing that, even though I am a big personality and I am loud and whatever, but like you kind of have to get that out of me, where the streaming, I'm just so much more comfortable. Like, cause like, I feel like I'm a pretty good hang at a theme park. Like I'm going to have a good time with you. And like, Lawrence is in my streams a lot. Like, I think it's like people are interested because I don't just talk Disney. You know, I've been to a lot of places, and like I can talk about all these different coasters. And like when the Liberty Bell was still open and I'd ride by the Big Thunder, I'd sit there and explain like, oh, here's what they're doing right now in the construction process, like envelope clearance testing and all these things. And like people were just like fascinated by it. Like they didn't understand that all this went into it. So I just love that I can share all this worthless knowledge I have about so many different things with these people. And like, I love it every day.
So let's cover a little bit of news because there was some news that dropped today and yesterday. And so I want to cover that real quickly. Okay. If you are a Disney Plus subscriber, which I would bet a good majority of our viewers are, make sure that you sign up for the Disney Plus Perks plan, program. This was rolled out, if you remember, you used to buy DVDs. I can't remember what it was called, but there was some sort of movie program and you would get points for it. So that's now gone away because who buys DVDs? And they've rolled out Disney Plus Perks. Okay, so let's talk about the biggest perk that they've rolled out. So here's a few of them. One, a chance to win a trip to Disneyland. But look at the middle one there. Complimentary D23 Gold membership.
That's crazy. That's $100 value.
Jump on that. Jump on that because I pay for mine. Corey pays for his. Like,
yeah,
you have Disney Plus, you can get a free D23 Gold membership. You also get 6 months of Dash Pass, which is pretty cool too. So make sure to sign up for that if you have Disney Plus. Jen W said that her annual pass is going to be expiring. Well, if you are thinking about getting an annual pass, you can get a free gift card up to $100 depending on the level of pass that you buy right now. I don't know that there's ever been a promotion for annual passes. So if you're thinking of
I mean,
one,
not like that. No.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about it, jump on that because that's a great way to get to the parks and get some extra discounts as an annual pass holder.
What does that tell you? Like, when have you ever seen them do something like that? Like, Disney does not discount tickets typically, except for like Florida Resident, you know, will have those deals. But like, to be giving you a gift card for an annual pass, that tells me they know that the next few months are going to be rough.
That's right.
Oh, absolutely. We all love Disney, right? But the business side is Disney is not. They're not that nice. They're not nice. They're not nice in that realm. They're only going to give you something. Not saying I really like that, and everyone else. You know what? I'm going to give them $100 gift card because I just like them. I want to do something nice. No, it's hey, we need more people coming in. What can we do? You know, let's slash prices for the resorts lately. That's because not enough people are coming. So we get to benefit from those kinds of things when that happens. But that's any business.
True. Yeah, empty hotel rooms do not fill the bottom line. So, you know, get a up to $100 gift card for getting an annual pass, and then we're also going to give you 40% off of room rates. So take advantage since it's happening right now, because who knows how long that's going to be happening. There's also discounts on the Disney Cruise Line, which is also rare. So for sailings from October 3rd through March 30th, there are select rooms on, sorry, the banner's in the way, but almost all the ships, including the Disney Dream that I'm going on, where you can get 50% off of your third and fourth passenger. So make sure to reach out to a travel agent, Myers and the Mouse, non-sponsored, and talk to them about this deal because it is certainly going to be worth it. I mean, could you imagine had you Corey, when you went, getting 50% off for Jacob and Jillian?
No. I knew something was dropping for DCL coming up soon. I didn't know the details, but apparently this is the one. Someone had told me a month and a half ago. But I was hoping it was going to apply to us, but it's not going to apply to us or you. I mean, it's just before your window and it's well after ours.
It's actually during our window. It's during our window, but
What?
I don't think that our
is it?
yeah, we're going the 25th of October.
Why wouldn't it work for you? It sounds like it fits right there.
It does. I don't believe the room type that we got is.
Oh,
is
it depend on,
included.
it depends on room type?
Yeah, it's a
Depends on
specific
room
room
type.
type. Yeah. So we have
okay.
to find out. But I don't think so. But I'll be calling. I won't.
So the cruise discount is for the third and fourth person staying in the same stateroom and guest 1 and 2.
Right. So yeah, you're putting 4 people in one room.
Catherine says she needs to add a third and fourth passenger. I'm raising my hand. And I'll take that discount, please. Yeah.
I threw this in there. It's Disneyland, but I just threw this in there because I thought Corey would like it. It's a Mickey Christmas Carol character dinner going to Disneyland Resort for the holidays. And I thought he would like it. Because there's somebody in there that he likes.
Oh, Clarabelle, my lady. Look at her. Look at her.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. And then you have Goofy as Jacob Marley. So pretty cool there. We will also mention that the annual pass holder reservation limitation has been lifted. So it's back to the standard. If you're trying to get to Magic Kingdom, you can go after 2 without a reservation Monday through Friday. So they've lifted.
And I must say, I was watching. I wanted to check in on the crowd levels on Sunday night. So we're talking a full week or 8 nights after the premiere, and it was pretty empty. Like 15 minutes before the parade, if I recall correctly, it was pretty empty on Main Street. It was like, whoa, there were gaps.
Now, Sierra did have somebody sit on her foot for the parade last night at the 9 o'clock parade. So apparently the 9 o'clock parade is still ridiculous.
That was nice of them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
the other night, watching Sunday night on stream, there were enough gaps to bring your stroller and put it on the sidewalk over the curb instead of
you didn't have to carry it over another human. That's awesome.
No.
Wow.
Guests lost their mind last week.
It was crazy.
I think we all had an incident last Sunday, didn't we? Every
the
single
worst
one
of
of us.
humans. I described it as one of my core memory moments, funnest nights, most memorable at Magic because of the debut of what will be an iconic parade. But it was also my single worst time I've ever had at Magic Kingdom for a little microcosm of time based on guest behavior.
So I always try to stand in the back because I'm gigantic, right? I understand that. I know where I'm at. I'm at Disney World. I would rather kids are ahead of me, So I stand in the back. Plus, then I can hold my camera up and not bother anybody. So John and I had these spots. Well, you saw where we were, Corey. We were pretty close to you guys that night. And we were standing in the back on the square there, last row. So we weren't bothering anyone. For an hour and a half, we held that spot. And 2 seconds before the first float comes out, a guy lifts his daughter up on his shoulders right in my camera, which, fine. I'll raise my camera up, try to keep the kid. I don't want the kid in my shot anyway. The parade ends and the mom comes up to me and she's like, "Are you still streaming?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, I'll wait till you're done." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not going to be done, And she's like, "Well, next time you want to stream my little daughter, you need to ask my permission." And I was just like, okay. I wanted to say so many things, but it was just like, nothing good's going to come from this. I'm just going to just say, okay, and walk the other way. But it was like, you put her there. You knew we had the cameras. We're trying to be polite, and then you want to yell at me. Because that's my number one worry. I never want to upset a guest or like a cast member. So like, yeah, Sunday night was it was a stark reminder of why I go to the parks at 9 a.m. and I'm not in the parks at night. Like I'm just not a night guy, and that's part of it. Just the crowds for the parade and the fireworks. I don't handle it well.
And you did the absolute right thing. You did the absolute right thing. You know.
Yep.
There was a quick incident. I'll say a quick incident one time that a guy, you know, was certainly gesturing that he wasn't happy about being on camera while we were in the queue, and you know, my daughter Jill quickly reminded him, you know, please review your theme park ticket because it says that you may be filmed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and then like of all the nights for this woman to yell at me about having a camera, there's 50,000 people in the park and 49,000 of them have cameras out.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
I mean,
it was like media,
right? And then you just want to say like, let me see your phone. Can I go through your pictures and videos for the day? Do you have any strangers in any of these? Like, did you get their permission?
Yeah.
Absolutely no, you didn't. You know, you're not special.
Or
like,
do you know that your daughter is in like 3,000 photos today? Did you know that?
Right. Exactly. Well, and plus it's a nighttime parade. I had a silhouette of her. So like, I mean, we're freaking out over nothing here. Yeah.
I love people.
Luckily I don't have many interactions like that when I'm streaming, but man, that one got to me.
So for the next couple weeks, we're also going to have two parades. It's official. It will be at 9 and 11. Through the 14th is the only announced time. So we'll see what happens after or from the 15th on. Of course, it's not going to run on any of the party nights. But we've also heard that Happily Ever After is moving to like 9:30 and that the park is closing at 10. So if that happens, then what happens with the two parades? So still waiting to see what happens after the 14th of August. And I would say
I hope it doesn't go to one parade because it will not calm down on Main Street for us.
It's too early for me.
It's going to be Phantasmic. It's going to be a Phantasmic with one show.
Yeah. I think this needs to continue to be two parades for at least through Labor Day. At a bare minimum, I would say through Labor Day.
I'd argue through the new year.
Yeah.
Like, because even September, October, it's still new enough, I feel like.
I think so.
And then you get into the holidays. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll see more to come on that. We're not going to go too detailed on this, but there are two new events happening during the Halloween party, which is crazy because when was the last time we had something new during a Halloween party? So we have two new things during the Halloween party. We'll talk about that next week. We're going to do we'll talk all about Mickey's Not So Scary. And then here's kind of a quick look at the merch and the food, but we're going to do a whole detailed show on that.
Sounds great. Look at the back of that Spirit jersey. I can't wait till Lawrence for the LID edition of Spirit jerseys to hit parks next year.
Wouldn't that be something?
It's going to be amazing.
Wouldn't that be
amazing? Yeah, it should happen. For anybody that doesn't know, we ran into one of the top designers of Spirit jerseys in Walt Disney World, and we had a talk. And she wanted to know our thoughts on it. And I told her our exact thoughts. I said, we're from Florida. We love Spirit jerseys. Floridians would buy more Spirit jerseys if they were of T-shirt material. And I said, we love the backing across the shoulders, the big letters. She goes, oh, you like that? Okay. She said, taking this back to corporate because this is an idea. And I said, okay, we'll buy them. I gave her the channel. I gave her my contact. So I asked her to contact me if that goes through, but we'll see if she does. But if we see it in the store, Lawrence, and I'm live, I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna be like, "Oh, there it is! There it is! The long sleeve, light." And I said, "You can go short sleeve too with that."
Yeah.
And I swear, Corey, all the cool Spirit jerseys come out in the summer when you have absolutely no desire to even consider buying one here.
I know. There's
like
so
my brain
many
cannot even think about like December right now. Like today was so hot at Magic Kingdom. And I can't even fathom buying a Spirit jersey right now.
Yes. Yes.
And let me just tell you about what's coming up on a future episode of the DIZPod. On August 19th, we're going to have Angel Reyes, who is the Walt Disney Birthplace brand ambassador. They have an event coming up called Building a Dream, and you get to go inside Walt Disney's storybook home. So that is coming up on August 19th. They're going to, Angel's going to come on and talk about the event, talk about what they do at the Walt Disney Birthplace. So really excited to see that. So that'll be coming up.
Yeah, that'll be a great show.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So, gentlemen, any final words?
I'll leave that to Thad first. No, he's good. Thad has said a lot.
Good. Thanks for having me on, guys. Yeah, I feel like I've said a lot, so I don't have much else to say.
It's been fun. It's been great. Fun guest. I'm sure we'll have you on again in the future, and you won't mind coming back. They all want to come back. I don't care if they're Disney animators. I don't care if they're Sisters of Tiana. People have a good time here, so that's great. Let's finish up with our sponsor, our wonderful sponsor, Victor Naraki. How about that? If you're looking for a home that offers the perfect blend of luxury, comfort, and convenience with Disney World in your backyard, Victor Naraki is a licensed realtor with Vision Home Real Estate LLC, and he is here to help you find the home of your dreams. With over 15 years of experience in the Disney area home market and a proven track record of success, Victor is the perfect partner to guide you through every step of the home buying process. So why wait? Visit celebratingflorida.com today, and as well, go to his YouTube channel and subscribe to @VictorNaraki. Give him a like and drop some comments, and he'll help you. He'll help you. He's close to Disney. It's amazing how close these properties are, and we simulcast his home tours live on Sunday afternoons when we can. So there you go.
Very cool. Guess who doesn't have a show close?
What is happening here? This is Bush League.
I thought I loaded it in. It's not in here. Wait, nope, it's not in there. All right, folks, we're gonna end the show.
You have one job, Lawrence.
You're
job.
Supposed
to produce the show.
One
job.
Come on. Oh well. Just sing the theme song in your head.
It's
thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you all for being here.
Thad, where are you tomorrow? Epcot?
Yep, doing Epcot tomorrow.
All right, so Thad will be at Epcot tomorrow at 9 a.m. Make sure to watch him. Heck, turn on the multi-view and watch whoever else is live. Just make sure to click play and give them all some watch time. These folks work hard out there in 110 plus degree heat, trying to bring Disney to all of you.
That's right. We slave over a hot park for all of you. We slave over a hot park.
So Thad is in Epcot tomorrow. Corey is in Magic.
You know what? I don't know anything at the moment because I think the family's I'm off on vacation, so we're trying to figure that out. I think I'll figure that out pretty soon. So watch for possible changes, everybody. I know we're normally live Wednesday nights. It would have been Magic Kingdom, but it could even be an afternoon stream or more of a morning stream, and it be Epcot. I don't know. So I got to go find that out. Yeah, they threw me a curveball. So we will be live tomorrow. Watch for notifications. I'll put something on the community page, and I got to let Lawrence know too. But I came in with question marks, not knowing exactly when. So, but we'll be live tomorrow. So,
all right. Make sure you're
leaning. It could be Epcot. It could be Epcot. But we'll still show you the Starlight Parade. Lawrence will shoot that out to you in the post show.
Even if it's Epcot in the morning, I'm going to do a post show. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
All right, that's fine. Hey, let's play this outro. I happened to find it for you. All right, folks.
Sounds good. Until then, we're just a couple of guys, couple of bros talking Disney. Good night, everyone.
DIZPod, stay.